She's operating with half a face. We did a tech check, and that's what her view of herself is.
It's really trippy.
It would be trippy. So I admire you. Looked very calm, collected. I'm going to go to gallery view. You guys can do speaker view, but I cannot look at myself this big ever. Okay, I'm going back. I'm so much cuter. This big. See, you don't know. You can't see. And also I have the filter on just in case. Oh, so great to see you. The trifecta of the Tri-County. Where are my Pooter Valley? Where's my, you call it Pooter Valley? Pooter. Do you call it a valley? Is it a valley? Somebody help me.
No, just Pooter.
Just
PSD.
Not like bad. Yeah, I'm in the BVSD up here or down here. I'm south of y'all in the Boulder Valley School District. I do have a teenager, and I know that's probably confusing right out of the gate. So where was the Pooter folks? I'm just sorry. I'm just like to see. And Greeley, District 6, where are my Greeley? Okay, a little more enthusiasm there in Greeley. Okay, what have we got? What else? Thompson, where's my Thompson? Come on, you got more energy than that. Okay, you win. Let's make it a competition right out of the gate. I am Nancy. I'm honored to be here. Welcome to my garage studio here, a couple of blocks from Centaurus High School, where I moved so my son could study engineering, even though he just plays his guitar during class. Okay, I'm so glad. I'm so glad we moved within 3 blocks of the school so we could virtually attend. So yes, I am a nurse. Full transparency, I did get out of nursing for the same reason a lot of people get into it, to save lives. So you're welcome. I'm doing this now. Thank you for whoever has their mic open and is giggling. I appreciate you. Yes, I'm a former nurse, a comedian. I've been a comedian for 30 years, nurse for 40 years, and only a mom for the last 16. Now, you already can probably tell I'm an older mom because my name is Nancy, right? They haven't made Nancy. Since when? Stranger Things. Since 1964, there's not been a Nancy. And I am not a late model Nancy. I'm just telling you. My son's first words were, hot flash. He sees my neck turn red and he will run and put himself in a timeout. That is efficient parenting for the single moms. I'm a single, stay away from home mom. Is better this way, I'm not very far away from home. I'm actually, like I said, I'm in the garage. I'm in my garage studio. I have a little heater and a heat pad that I sit on. And I love doing this. I love bringing humor. And I know you all already have the message. I've talked to some of you. I talked to Allie and Michelle and Bonnie, and I get that you already are using humor, which is wonderful. So I just want to reinforce that. And for those of you who haven't heard or got the memo about humor and the value of it, that's what I want to share today. And you may hear a little twang in my voice. It's not a Boulder twang. That is, I'm originally from the Ozarks. Has anybody heard of the Ozarks? Yeah. All right. I know you're curious. Which trailer park? Nothing wrong with being from a trailer park, but not everybody in the Ozarks lives in a trailer park. There is a huge waiting list. Okay. You don't just get in there. You got to earn it. You start small with a pickup truck and a camper shell. You build, you dream, you pray. You get a vision board. You put a double wide on it. You manifest is what I'm saying. You manifest that. And I did. I made it, y'all. Give it up for me. I made it to the double wide, which is beautiful. They're nice homes. I made it to the double wide, but watch what you pray for. Things do not always go well. You've all seen that half a trailer going down the highway. That is an Ozark divorce. Next time you see that, wave. Show some, flash your brights. It's a wide load, okay? It's a wide emotional load for those of us who have been through divorce. Those red flags are on there for a reason. Stay back. 10, 15 years. We are a mess. We are a mess. So I live in half a trailer in Boulder Valley. Don't feel bad for me. The value went up exponentially when I started calling her a tiny house. Rich. I live in a tiny house. Actually, I've been through 2 divorces because I'm codependent. I've been through 2 divorces. Can anybody break my record? Anybody? I've been through 2 and they're horrible, but you have to, if you don't laugh, you'll cry. So, and yes, I did cry when it was appropriate to cry, but now, it's time to move on. So I make fun. And anytime I get triggered by my divorce energy, I go to the half a trailer going down the highway and see those red flags just to wave it. And I'm down to a sliver. I'm down to a quarter. If you're doing the math, I'm down to a quarter of a trailer. I lost the kitchenette. In the last one. Now I'm cooking on an easy bake oven. So, which I still have from my childhood. I have the original. I have the OG. I have the original easy bake. Anybody have the original? Anybody have a light bulb? Did anybody have the one with the light bulb? Thank you, yeah. Elizabeth. Yes, testify. Yes, we were cooking with a light bulb, kids. They won't let you look at an eclipse, but you could stare at that 100-watt bulb through a piece of glass in that window, just frying your eyeballs. A lot of us went easy bake blind. We were cooking by smell. We were so blind. We were like, is that cake? Is that cake done? I don't know. Is that cake or is that my cornea? Have you ever tried to smell your own cornea? Anybody? It's not easy. You got to lead it like a rainbow. You got to kind of arc it like that. Take a big, is that my cornea? I don't know. It's kind of like trying to smell your own breath, which is easier now with a mask, isn't it? Remember when you thought it was other people's breath? No, it's yours. It was yours the whole time. I found that out at the grocery store the other day. I was in the produce section going, wow, somebody has bad breath. They're like, it is me. It is me. And that's when I came up with my first COVID invention, which is a mask with a little Pez dispenser on the side, just shooting little mints. Shoot the little mints right in there. Y'all, that would sell. Who's going to Shark Tank it? Anybody? Shark Tank with me? Yeah, we could sell that. It transforms your world. I don't know. I actually, sometimes I do put essential oil inside my mask just to kind of, woo. Yeah. It's a whole new world. Yes, I'll do Disney references. Yes, I will. So yeah, easy bake oven. Some of you cooked with the light bulb. Wasn't easy. Had to do fractions. Some of you maybe were precocious. Could you do fractions? I know the guys are like, when is she going to get to us? Did we have it? Or maybe you did. Maybe you had a progressive family and you had an easy bake oven. Because secretly, I wanted a gun and holster set. I got an easy bake because we were a conservative family. So I had to play cowboys with an oven on my hip. But those little cake pans were like ninja stars. They were like, kind of scoot those around. And then you could not make a nice cake in that thing because it was 1/16 of a cake. If you lived around here, you had to do high altitude instructions. You're jonesing for that little cake. You'd overload the pan. Your mom's over your shoulder. Honey, it says halfway full. I am starving. Huge cake would rise up. It's going to hit the light bulb. Look out. Remember that feeling? Big cake in the oven. You were so proud of yourself. I made a big cake. Has to come out a slot this high. Do you remember this problem? Break the top off your self-esteem. Never had good self-esteem. That's the reason. Also, I have a lazy eye. I don't know if you can tell, but I do have a wandering. Yeah, that's my easy bake eye, I call it. I'm not talking to the computer over there. I'm talking to this one. So actually, this happens to me constantly. I can be at McGuckin's hardware store defining the little piece that I need for my dishwasher. And the guy's like, oh, were you talking to me this whole time? Sometimes people keep moving to the right or left as I speak to them. I don't know which way it is. I got dyslexic. I also have dyslexia. I got it going on. ADD, dyslexia. It's all happening. For those of you who are linear and waiting for the content portion, buckle up. This is the reversal. This is what your ADD kids that are watching you, your ADHD kids that are trying to learn from you, logical people. This is us throwing it back at you. My son and I both have ADHD. Actually, he has a couple of ADHFs in algebra. You know what I'm saying? Yes, I am that person at the IEP meeting. I loved talking to you all about some of this. Some of the people I talked to saying how fun it is to watch what's going on in the background at an IEP meeting. And I'm going to put on a show. Now you've motivated me. I'm going to have puppets. There's going to be, I'm going to dress up my dog, put a little shark fin on her back, have her in the background. So what is the point? The wellness. Are you feeling the wellness?
Woo!
Somebody like, I'm not feeling it. Woo. Okay, we're not there yet. We're not there yet.
Oh.
I just, my main objective may be different than Rachel's. I did send her a handout, just so you know, a cheat sheet. So this will cover the actual content portion. So you can look at a Word document in case it's not clear to you what the heck I'm talking about and why. Because mainly I wanted you to have experiential learning today, and that is just to laugh and hopefully laugh at my pain. And I hope that even though I'm sharing my stories, that you are getting the message, hey, if she can laugh at her divorce, if she can laugh at her lazy eye, if she can laugh at the fact that she is an old mother, and that is the end of that sentence, okay? I'm so old. My neck, look, I have a microphone, not because I need it to cover this. What happened here? What happened? I was such a young, old person. And then all of a sudden the skin starts sliding off. Anybody else? I'm just saying, I'm having an existential crisis as I watch this happening. And I'm a single mom, so I can't afford, plastic surgery. That's not covered on insurance. So I just put a chip clip back here. Check that out. Yeah, I have merchandise I'll have in the lobby. I have chip clips, Ozark facelift. I do props. That's your Ozark facelift chip clip. It actually works. Duct tape will also work. Hot flash, I mentioned earlier. I do a show called Mental Pause because I can't remember things. And here's my mental pause for my fans. Pause fan. All right, that's all the props, I promise. I want to give you guys props. So the message, and again, it's comedy. It's just comedy, but really it's at the root of it is stress and pain and frankly, some agony. But have fun. Have fun with it. Charlie Chaplin said, take your pain and play with it. And that's what I'm going to demonstrate for you today. And I know some of you are already doing that because you have to, because it actually is built into us psychologically. We evolved with humor. A lot of people don't know this. What makes things funny, according to my friend Professor Pete McGraw, wrote a book called The Humor Code, and his theory is benign violation theory. So there's a little line that gets uncomfortable, and then I relieve the tension, talking about the divorce or talking about my lazy eye. It might make you a little uncomfortable, like we're not supposed to laugh at people's disfigurements, but I'm giving you permission. And his thing is that we evolved with humor. It's part of the reward system for surviving a threat. Yeah, we used to laugh back in the old caveman days after we escaped the tiger and it only got Joe's little toe. I guess that's not a good caveman name. Grog's little toe. And we were all laughing about it. Did you see his face when the tiger got his little toe? It's probably got an appetite for toes now, or maybe it doesn't. I don't know. His toe's pretty stinky. But there's just this evolution of dopamine reward, and you get a little bit of endogenous morphine. I don't want to brag. And I'm not a drug dealer, Rachel. But these are the good, healthy opioid receptors in your body. They're not addictive and actually does relieve pain of all kinds. Did you know that emotional pain and physical pain are very similar? You can actually help relieve emotional pain with a Motrin as well. A lot of people don't know that either. They're similar as the brain interprets pain. It's pain. Pain is pain. So if you're in emotional pain, man, what a way to empower yourself if you can just think of funny thought. It doesn't take more time. The big message I got from the three people I interviewed was, do not add another thing for us to do. We can't do another thing. And I get that. Your pie chart is crammed full. Here you are doing wellness and you don't even have time to sleep, right? Who's sleeping 8 hours? How many of you are sleeping 8 hours a night? Let me see my 8 hour. Oh, we got somebody. Rebecca, what? How are you doing? What? Courtney?
Well, I'm not a teacher.
Oh, you're not a teacher.
Not a teacher.
You're able to sleep. That's good. I can't even, I have time to sleep, but I'm having this existential crisis with the skin falling and the pandemic combo platter. I procrastinate bedtime because I just feel myself, yeah, this is the upbeat part of my program, sinking into darkness. So hope that helped. Hope that lifted your spirits to talk about the existential crisis. But you are frontline workers, and I know a lot is up for you right now. The vaccine is coming. Some of you are on the list. Some of you are not. And it's a choice. I get that. But for those of you who want the vaccine, I heard there's a little vaccine envy going on out there. Who got the email? How many of you got the email that you're able to sign up? Anybody? Few? Nope. There's sadness. I know some of you. Look at the lucky ones. They're like, hey, I got it. Good job. Congratulations. Those of us, I do have a nursing license, and people tell me you could use that, to go get the vaccine, but no cuts. Am I right, teachers? No cuts. Nothing like a 7-year-old inside myself. My son keeps me connected to my inner child at all times, even though he is 16 now. I want to share some stories about raising him as a single mom and the stress that maybe you can apply to some of your different age groups. Because I know some of you are admin, some of you are in do you call it environmental services? What do you call the janitorial services?
Facilities.
Yeah, some of you are some people in facilities in the wellness program?
Sometimes in our district, not as often as other positions.
But all different roles, food service, all different roles. So you're interacting with students. So everybody's interacting with the students on one level or another, and the parents. I'm just one of them. I mean, I'm a fairly, I try to be engaged to a point, but honestly, I keep reminding my son, this is your life. I'm here now to support you. Tell me how I can do that. I haven't heard back. So, so I just wanted to share a few ways that humor has helped me thrive, survive, and come out the other side of so much stress. Because I know, I don't want you thinking, oh, well, she's a comedian, her life is piece of cake. When I adopted my son, so I didn't tell you that part, that I adopted him. I did not birth my son in my 40s. I adopted him, or as he says, I bought him, which is not true. If you are adopted or have adopted kids, it's a journey of love. Although I did have a Groupon, I don't want to go into it, but that is an example of us making fun of a dynamic where our relationship is a significant, obviously, mother-child relationship. People belittle it or diminish it, and that's our coping with it. So my son, when I adopted him, he came home at 1 year old, and I underestimated. I thought because I was a marathon runner, I could keep up with a toddler. Nope, not so much. And I was in my 40s, and all of a sudden I felt my age. And he is an ADHD kid that just ding, 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 ding. When I was talking with Bonnie, one of the kindergarten teachers, she was sharing with me that I said, thank you so much. I just remember what a joy it was to drop him off at kindergarten and run away. And she said, yeah, I have a few of those that are really busy. She gives them notes, like with little inside jokes to send to the office. Run this down to the office and back. Oh, take another one, which is brilliant. I love that. One of the things my son and I did, I just wanted to share, even preschool age, he hated socks. I don't know why, but I would, and I felt it was important that he had them on. I don't know, just seemed like I didn't want to get reported to Child Protective Services for not sending my son to preschool with socks. And I'm trying to work, I'm paranoid. I'm trying to work 10-hour shifts as a nurse. I'm trying to get his socks on, trying to get out the door. He's headbutting me in the breasts. And I'm like, oh my goodness, I can't take this anymore. And it's just the pain sort of shifted my thought. And I said, okay, we're not doing socks anymore. So I just balled it up and kind of threw stink bombs at him. And he started throwing them back. And that became our new preschool exit game, sock bomb fights. Just turning that one thing, it changed our whole energy of the morning. Like, we're not having this fight. No one did report me. I don't know if you guys would put that on a list. That kid never had socks. Make a note of it at the meeting. But just an example of taking a resistance and turning it into something playful. And it really did. It shifted the energy getting out the door. Of course, he was still stuck at, what is it about toddlers and thresholds that they get, like, you're late. You're just, I never allow enough time to get from the door to the car. I always think, I don't know why, I don't ever budget that time in there. What is that? They hit the threshold like little orangutans. Their little arms are just like, wow, sky. And they're in the moment. They're in the moment. And I am late. I am late. And you're not supposed to push them. I don't know if you got that note, but I would accidentally bump him maybe with my knee, like, oops, you know. They got to keep that big head underneath them, you know. They got to keep their body under the big head is what I meant. But my son he always knew. He's like, you pushed me. I'm like, I'm sorry. But we are late. Let's go get in the car. And then there was a big line of construction workers all the way down Broadway and Boulder. We lived in North Boulder, and his Rainbow Preschool was at the south end. So we're driving, and of course, I never, again, loud enough time. So there's anxiety, and your brain can actually get into fight or flight with just that kind of anxiety. Like, I don't know, part of you feels like you might die. Like, and I think the thing, what I did was I exaggerated my fear to the point of what is it I'm really afraid of? You know, I'm afraid I'm going to get written up. I'm going to lose my job. We're not going to have a shelter or food, and I'm going to be under a bridge, and no one's going to bring me vegetarian chili. That was the nutshell right there. I'm like, this is about vegetarian chili. And I know that's confusing. I'm from the Ozarks. Ozark vegetarians are kind of rare, but I have a cookbook. I do have a cookbook I'll sell, the Ozark Vegan Cookbook. It's in the lobby. It's all chicken recipes. But still, that's as close as we get. Actually, yeah, I will eat, you know, my father lived on squirrels. So I always say I would eat a squirrel if the quinoa runs out. My dad, actually, I'm part squirrel. That's why I have the ADD brain, I'm pretty sure. My dad lived on squirrel during the Great Depression in Taney County, Missouri, down in the Ozarks. Seriously, that's why I'm here. Because I love squirrels. I will feed them, but then I would eat them if the quinoa ran out. Sorry. That's my message. If you ever get anxious about money, y'all, just remember there's food in the trees. I'm just saying, if it's really desperate time, if you're really feeling anxious, go outside and just look up in the trees, and if you hear a little, you're going to be okay. It's fine. It's going to be all right. How's everybody doing? Are we doing okay? I'm going to scroll through some pages here. Yeah, we have, hey, page 2. You don't know what page you're on. Everybody do an impression of students looking back at you when you're teaching them. Let me see everybody's impression of a student. Let me see. Yeah, this is perfect. Oh yeah, I like Kathy had her head all the way back, sleeping. Yeah, sleeping. Teresa's sleeping. Nobody's playing guitar. That's my son's thing. That was the feedback at the IEP meeting. You know, your son's taking sign language and he's playing guitar during the class. It's not going well for him. That's one of his ADHFs right there. Oh, I just want to give you like a hug for having to deal with people like my kid. I'm sorry. Actually, the feedback I get, he does engage verbally. He does. I'm proud of that. He's respectful, but he does pick up that guitar too much. And they do say he contributes to the class in a healthy way when called on. So I feel good about that. He does keep his camera on and he does stay awake. Living on Flamin' Hot Cheetos and Arizona tea. Proud. So I want to demonstrate. I think the last thing I was going to share is that traffic jam. I told you about like the anxiety, but there was also this construction zone. When my son was 3, he was obsessed with construction vehicles. And he actually said this one time at dinner: you guys, if you want to be a construction driver, you have to fight to keep that dream alive. I think he still wants to do that. And it was kind of cool because we just had a little song. We just had a little song parody that we would do as we drove through to kind of help me calm down, which was like, it was a backhoe, front loader, cherry picker, side dumper, all on the way to Rainbow today. But little simple song. Somehow, I encourage, if you get stuck and you're like, I can't think of funny thought, song parodies are easy. Or even referencing movies. Like now he's 16 and we're watching Cobra Kai. Has anybody seen Cobra Kai? They're bringing back Karate Kid, 35 years later, the same actors are in it. If you ever watch Karate Kid with Daniel-san and Mr. Miyagi, and my son, it's one of the shows that we can watch together. And it is TV 14. There's some language but yeah, there's a scene in there that we just watched where they did a flashback back to the original one, where Daniel is scared. He's been kicked down and he's scared. And Mr. Miyagi is looking at him kind of with his I think he's going like this with his hand. He's like, Daniel-san, okay to lose to opponent, must not lose to fear. Must stay focused. Daniel-san, best karate is inside you. So now, when my son and his ADHD, I just do one of these. Nathaniel, my son is Nathaniel. Nathaniel-san, must stay focused. To which he responds, stop. It's not a big, I don't get big laughs. He does the impression better. He is Asian, so maybe it's more appropriate. But he's from Nepal. My son is adopted from Nepal. And it was a long journey. It was a 6-month journey. Would not have had a happy ending without humor, because humor gives us resilience. I spent 6 months in Kathmandu with a crazy ordeal of an adoption. And honestly, I would not have my son with me. And I'm not sure he would even be alive. I don't mean to be overly dramatic, but our paths crossed 5 months into that process. And he was very sick in the hospital and had a kidney infection and kept getting reinfected in the hospital because they washed the diapers on the bathroom floor, cloth diapers, and not with soap. I mean, just rinse them with a bucket and then hang them on the foot of the bed like a petri dish, never quite dry, and put them back on. And he had ureter incompetence, reflux, anyway, the little valves that go between, the ureters go between the, I'm not going to do the whole lesson on that. This is not a TED talk about kidney infections. But the point is, he kept getting reinfected, and I did the ugly American thing, and I got him disposable diapers, and just for the time, and I gave him IV antibiotics at my apartment. And anyway, long story longer, he came home with me a year later. So I would not have had that successful adoption. I don't think I could have stayed in Nepal all those months, because when I first went over there, the initial adoption referral just blew up in my face, and it was a mess. And the agency I was working with here in Boulder, the director was fraudulent, and actually not in my case. I was able to have a successful adoption, but a lot of people didn't, and she ended up going to prison. It's a long story, but the point is, I had resilience. I went to a yoga class. I did the Boulder thing. I went to a yoga class there in Kathmandu, and it turned to be hilarious dancing yoga that you had to hold one nostril to go forward, one nostril to go back. We had jingles and bangles, and I was with 2 other women I didn't know, but we started laughing at the whole ordeal of it. One of them had the little bangles on her arm and we just started laughing. We couldn't stop laughing. And there's something about laughing with others, as you may have experienced with your team, that bonds you in the limbic system. You're like, I get you, you get me. And we were instant friends. And they took me under their wing, because I didn't know what to do at this point. When this first referral, I was there in country, lost. And these women were there, one from Australia, one from England, volunteering at orphanages and schools, doing, good stuff, painting schools, taking this, one doctor I took had a tumor on his throat. It wasn't hard to do, but it gave us a purpose, gave me a purpose to work with them. And I stayed the course, and I had bonded with a Nepalese lawyer there, again through humor. I can't explain it because we didn't quite speak the same language, but somehow I was able to joke with him about how fast he hung up his cell phone. And he continued, because in Nepal, when you make a phone call, you pay for the phone call. So I didn't know that. He would say, I'm going to meet you at the hotel this afternoon. He wouldn't say what time. I'd say, okay. He'd say, okay, goodbye. And then I just wait at the hotel for like all day, just in case, because I didn't know. I said, you hang up so fast. Anyway, we ended up bonding. He continued to look for a child to bond with me, found the perfect one. I can't imagine my life without Nathaniel-san. I really cannot. So it's just an example of how humor gives you resilience to stay the course. So I'm encouraging you all to use humor. And I know you already do because I heard from some of you. I know Bonnie was sharing with me that they have a thing at her school where they have a radio program on the intercom at school in the morning and do a little mock radio, meet the staff. And so they take a staff member and they tell you a little bit about the staff member, but then at the end of it, they do a little funny cartoon hobby that they might have, like synchronized swimming. And then the next day, they post pictures all over the hallways of that person in a, like they mock up pictures with them in a swim cap or something. So it's kind of fun. The people don't really, they're kind of scared when they come back to school to see what is the picture going to be. But that's a really fun unifying thing. It involves the whole school, the students, all the way through. So my primary thing is care for the caregivers, like for you all to have stress relief and think of ways that you could turn your stress into comedy. Like how could you cartoon it and have that in a little file so that you can draw on it whenever you need it. It's kind of nice to do it in advance. I mean, sometimes it comes organically, but it's not a bad idea to have that just a little bit ahead of time. So how are we all doing? Any questions at this point? We're going to have Q&A at the end, but is anybody confused? I know I lost you. I know I left a lot of you behind with my long stories, but that's my style. I'm drinking a fizzy vitamin drink. We call it a little emergency. It boosts your immunity, but the B vitamins also kind of calm you down. So if you do public speaking and you feel yourself a little jittery, like I do a lot of times, get a little B vitamins. The other thing that comedy does for you and humor is it lowers the stress hormones in your body. When you laugh, it signals your body the threat has passed, time to relax. And that invites homeostasis, which is the immune system is part of that. So your immune system comes forward and they have proven that people recover from illness faster when they take comedy breaks. This is documented way back 70s and 80s with Norman Cousins' Anatomy of an Illness. But it seriously is part of your wellness program. Are you guys feeling the wellness? Am I losing you? All right. I don't know if there's things in the chat that I need to see because I can't read, but if there is, just let me know. Again, we'll save some time at the end to ask more questions. I'm going to jump ahead with my son. So I told you some preschool and, kindergarten stuff, elementary school, the joke that we had. So we had a family joke. This is where I appreciate you teachers, especially. I have no patience for this. I was impatient. I would try and help my son. He had, I don't know if he had dyscalculia, but the times table was not sticking. It just wouldn't stick. And I just couldn't understand it. And I was really frustrated. Sometimes I just feel like he's not listening. And I'm like, 3 times 9 is 27. Now you say it. 3 times 9 is, 3 times 9 is, come on. 3 times 9. We just went over it. I just said it a second ago. And he goes, 27? And so now the joke is that anytime I've got that energy coming at you, he's like, 27? That's our running joke. That's it. 27, Nancy, you need to calm down. Yeah, you're too intense right now. He's a good leader. I've over-empowered him, and he definitely has permission to mock me to my face, but he's never cruel about it. It's actually appropriate usually. He's usually right. Cut to middle school. What's a middle school thing we did? Oh, in middle school, that's when the heartache happens, first girl breakups, getting teased relentlessly about being adopted, being brown, being a vegetarian, all the things. Well, Boulder, you wouldn't think in Boulder you'd get teased for being a vegetarian. But yeah, they used to chase him around with meat sandwiches. But now, of course, he will eat a pepperoni. Let me just tell you, the kid, I'm like, well, you want to eat a pepperoni, that is your business. But I am providing quinoa. He runs to the gas station, like I told you, Flamin' Hot Cheetos in Arizona. I'm feeling good about it. So I wanted to share just some gratitude for one of the school counselors in middle school because, yeah, he was pretty crushed, got into this argument, and then ended up, kids just, one up each other with wounds at that age. And the adoption wound's pretty heavy. So he was not wanting to go back to school. And, this counselor just was like, okay, Nathaniel, today, have those feelings, stay home, I'll have it all. Tomorrow, you're going to put on your warrior outfit. You're going to be a warrior. And just, I want you to come into school as a warrior tomorrow. And I could just feel his chest expand, his shoulders went back. And it's just something we've used since then to kind of put on your own avatar sometimes. I know it feels a little like it's not dissociation, but it's like just another part of you that you really channel. And it's really helped us. It actually helps me sometimes too. And, do you ever do the Wonder Woman pose with the elbows on the hips and just see how that feels? Have you heard about doing that? I don't know how that, sometimes I think about the bracelets, like what would Wonder Woman do, or what would Wonder Woman wear in this example? And I know y'all deal with a lot of stress with lockdowns and drills, and that's intense. And I mean, when that is happening, of course, you should be hyper-focused. It's appropriate to be in fight or flight if something's really going down. But if you're just laying in bed at night and remembering or having a fear about it, I don't know, you could probably even do it laying down. Even men, try the Wonder Woman pose and see, channel your Wonder Woman, channel your inner Wonder Woman.
Kelly says it's the Grey's Anatomy pose. I don't know, but that's what Kelly Webb says.
I like that. There is this anatomical position that's, I used to draw when I was making rounds. I made a little person that was kind of in the anatomical prone position when I would just make quick little notes, because back in the day as a nurse, we had 17 patients and it was just, I would draw on their body little wounds, whatever they had. Okay. Again, Grey's Anatomy. Yeah. Be the Grey's Anatomy guy, if that helps.
Yeah. She said before they went into a heart surgery, they would stand in that pose to pull positive energy.
Oh, really? That's somebody who works in healthcare?
Grey's Anatomy. Yeah, I guess it was on Grey's
in the movie. Oh, in the film. Oh, now I'm getting it. I'm catching up. I didn't connect all the dots. Yeah. Oh, so they would stand in that pose. Not the anatomical correct pose. Okay. I'm with you now. Thank you for clarifying. Yeah. It does channel your strength. It really does. So yeah, give it a try. And then have a little cartoon bubble above your head. It's kind of fun to juxtapose that with your inner child as well. Be in the power pose, but having the thought of the inner child. Oh my God, my mom doesn't love me. It's, that's my childhood wound. I don't know about you all, but I have a lot of anxiety from my childhood because I'm from a big family. Anybody else from a big family knows what that feels like to be one of many? No? Yeah. Thank you. I'm not the 9th of 11, but I was born the 4th of 3. So it's just the unplanned, you know what I'm saying? 4th. I'm not doing any more math jokes. No, it's too late in the day for math jokes. Okay. There's no pictures of me in the photo album. My sister's an artist, so she drew pictures of me so I could recount my childhood. And turns out I was a stick baby with 3 fingers on each hand. Not a good artist. But for some reason she couldn't remember how many fingers I had, but she remembers that lazy eye, 1 dot in the middle and 1 way up there. That's how that works. Oh, you guys, thank you for your kind attention. That because I'm 4th of 3, that is why I do this for a living. I need attention from strangers. I should never have been a nurse. My mom was a nurse and she tricked me into it. Other girls, it was toys, gifts and toys, the programming they do. Other girls got dolls that wet, dolls that cried, and I got a doll that choked. And that leftover CPR doll, I got a Heidi Heimlich maneuver and a Resusci Annie doll. Anybody else? Pulling that little doll out from under the tree. She starts drifting towards the little dolly white light. Turns out it's the light from the Easy Bake Oven. Actually, my original Easy Bake was not the one with the light bulb. I'm so old. The first Easy Bake I had was a wood burning. Did anybody else have the wood burning? It was cast iron. Yeah. You had to get up extra early and chop Lincoln logs to feed that fire. to find the Lincoln Logs. You had to steal them from your brother's cabin. You had to army crawl in the pre-dawn hours. You had to army crawl to your brother's cabin and do a weird Jenga thing with the onesie around the window, kind of. Then you go over to your other brother's G.I. Joe and steal his survival hatchet. And then ping, 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 ping. Cornbread. It came with cornbread. This is our vaccine. For those of you who have not had the vaccine, this is our vaccine for today. I hope you're feeling the wellness. I hope you're getting a little bit of a laugh. I don't care if you're laughing at me or with me. It works either way. So I just want to be of service. And I hope that you're hearing the little messages that are trickled in through here, the resilience. Did I tell you about the creative problem solving you get with humor? I don't think I did. That's another part of it. When you get a joke, you have to use all the major lobes of your brain to get a joke. It can get you out of that small area of the brain when you're in fight or flight or anxiety. You know how it's hard to think when you're anxious, and I'm like, or like the Zoom goes down or whatever, you're on Google Classroom probably, whatever, when the Google meeting goes down and you're trying to figure stuff out in a panic, it's hard to problem solve. And if you can step back, do your warrior pose, put the cartoon bubble over your head, this sucks, and then come back, hopefully refreshed with something fun. I don't think Wonder Woman would say that. I panicked. But the point is that you get all the resources from all the major lobes of your brain. You have to use them all to get the joke. You have to get to the words over here in the left hemisphere, the frontal lobe, which I have a very thin prefrontal cortex. I don't know if you can tell, but the frontal lobe is like social constructs, and then it throws it to the right hemisphere where you put the patterns together. This all happens in a millisecond. And then you throw it back to your occipital lobe where you picture the half a trailer going down the highway. And then you have the involuntary limbic response, if that resonates with you. So that's just one reason. They have proven this with studies. If they give the control group a problem to solve and then time to solve it, and then the study group, they give them the problem to solve, take a little humor break, and just, it doesn't have to take time. You can just think a cartoon thought, and in that, it takes literally seconds. And then you get more resourced, and those people who had just a tiny humor break were able to solve the problem faster. So it's just another way to get better creative problem solving. So I love sharing this. I know some of you may know some of it, but I really appreciate you hanging in there on the Zoom after hours. It's almost happy hour if you have a cocktail or mocktail. If you're at school, no. And by the way, I forgot to say, anything that I am saying is my responsibility, not Rachel's, or the school districts that you're in. I take full responsibility. So I raise my mocktail to you all, and I like to bring that up at the meeting. So if you need a little whatever refreshment, please take care of yourselves. Are there any questions? Anything we want to go over as we're near? We've got a little more time. I can share some more little stories, but I'd like to hear from you all. Anything you want to share? I'd love to hear. Is anybody using humor actively right now that has a short story or an example of when a stressful thing turned into a funny thing? One of the things that Allie shared with me, and I think she's at the basketball game with her son, so I don't know if she has an earbud in, but I wanted to thank her. She's PT. But she was just saying, doing evals, trying to do an eval on a child, like a 3-year-old, with a mask and a shield and a whole outfit, and trying to figure out where they are with their hearing and communication, and they're looking at you like you're aliens from outer space and crying. It's just that idea that you're trying to do an eval is just absurd, with all that stuff on, but you have no choice right now. I don't have a great funny joke for it, but I just think I wanted to acknowledge you're dealing with some really difficult things. Was that yes, I saw a hand. I see a hand.
It's Lori from Poudre School District. And I just wanted to say, I think I know that we all go through hard times, but I think what is such a wonderful thing about working with children is because they're kind of their parent for the day, and they don't let you think about yourself. They much. And I think when we don't have the ability to kind of, like I would say, stare at our own belly button too long, it's usually a happier place. On
I
top of that, they're funny. I mean, they're always saying something that just makes us laugh. So
I love that. You're
Yeah.
right. You can't be self-absorbed. There's no way. They're not going to let you. They demand a lot of attention. And
yeah.
do you write down some of the funny things? My sister is a speech language pathologist, and she's retired now from 2 different school districts. I'm so jealous of her pension. But here's a story from like this. When did she graduate college? She probably graduated in the early 80s. But she was telling me, do you ever do this? Like ever have like, you have to show another teacher something the kid is doing that is hilarious. And one of the kids, I'm like, is this appropriate? I'm just going to share it. So one of the kids wore to school in kindergarten a sanitary belt, and Tommy just heard it was a belt, and he was just wearing it. I know you guys don't even know what I'm talking about. They don't even have sanitary belts anymore. He was wearing a sanitary belt. I don't know. She said it was just the best day. Like everybody was going like, you got to come see what Tommy's wearing to school today. It's when he was sitting in circle during kindergarten. All right. Not the best story. Okay.
Heather shared a good one, Nancy. She said, here, I'm spotlighting you again. Okay. Heather said, I had a kid called a hand sanitizer Hymentizer. I cannot stop laughing with this one. Humor during COVID for sure. Hymentizer.
It's so innocent. It's so beautiful and innocent. Oh, that's great. Thank you. And that makes me feel less uncomfortable about the sanitary belt story. We have a couple of more minutes. Does anybody else have something they want to share or a little nugget? Because I do think peer-to-peer is probably the most powerful way to educate. So if there's something else, and who's the ram we're looking at? I'm seeing a ram on my screen. Or is that a mountain goat?
Nick.
You're highlighted again.
Yes, that's me. I took that picture in Rocky Mountain National Park.
Oh, that's beautiful. What is that?
I think it's a bighorn ram.
Bighorn ram. That was
CSU.
Woo woo, go
cool. Here we
Rams.
go, CSU. All right. Rah, rah. So thanks, Nick. Didn't mean to put you on the spot. I was just curious.
No, you're good. You're good.
I love how comfortable he is.
Nancy, I just wanted to share, I work in Poudre School District 2, and one thing we did with this whole year being so crazy and changing from remote to half remote to all that stuff, we have kept a big poster in the teacher's lounge, and it says, kids say and do the darndest things. And then you can just go put, sticky notes of something that happened. And it's just been fun throughout the year with all the different things.
That's brilliant. I love that. I love that.
So
that would be a fun one to take some photos and share with your peers, because it's anonymous. We don't know who, it's not going to, it's playful and not hurtful to any child. You know what I'm saying? It's okay. It's okay to laugh at that stuff.
Yeah.
In my humble opinion.
I mean, we've all had so many things like on remote, a parent walk by in their underwear and then get down and crawl away. Or kids using the words a little bit incorrectly. Like we have all their masks attached to a lanyard, and many of the little kids are calling them landlords. Lost my landlord in the bathroom. And then sanitizer. A lot easier than hand sanitizer.
Sanitizer. Thank you for sharing that. I love the story about the person in their underwear dropping down and crawling out of the frame. You're giving me more ideas for the next IEP meeting. Oh, that is fantastic. That is fantastic. I want to. Was there one more story? And I'll have closure here with my part. Although I know you guys need to do a survey or something, so maybe it is time for closure. Is there something pressing that wants to come out right now? If anybody. No. Okay. I just wanted to say, you know, kids laugh naturally, like 300 to 400 times a day, little kids. And as we get older, we laugh less and less and less. I guess we just get more serious, and maybe we've heard the jokes. I don't know. But the point is, if you can just try and raise the number of times you laugh, the average adult laughs about 10 to 14 times a day. And I read somewhere like 30 is really the healthy dose of laughter. So if you can just think, oh, I got to laugh at least a couple times an hour because you're sleeping part of the time. So just think about trying a couple times an hour to think something funny. It might be worth it. You'll see. I'd be curious to see how you feel. So thank you. Thank you all so much for your kind attention and going with me on my ADD journey through the power of humor. I hope that you can apply it to your lives and turn your pain into comedy so that you can manage, you know, every day a little bit better and be empowered. So thanks so much. I appreciate you all.